Thank you very much. I choke on that song. It's so wonderful. Thanks, Douglas.
I know E.B. White as the author of beloved children's books like Stuart Little and Charlotte's Web. Perhaps you know him for that definitive book on English writing, Strunk and White's Elements of Style. Then there's that vast collection of pieces he wrote over the course of years he spent as a regular essayist for The New Yorker. One of his pithy pieces we'll edit that out. Pithy. One of his pithy pieces is the starting point for my reflections today. E.B. White once wrote, "I arise in the morning torn between a desire to improve the world and a desire to enjoy the world. This makes it hard to plan the day." In my description of today's worship service, I suggested that in the full quote, White decides that savoring is more important, that enjoying is more important. This is not true. The full quote only heightens the tension revealed in this shortened version. I was wrong. The full quote was from a piece he did for The New Yorker in 1969, after he'd won, Newbery Awards and stuff, so he had people's attention. If the world were merely seductive, that would be easy. If it were merely challenging, that would be no problem. But I arise in the morning torn between a desire to improve the world and a desire to enjoy the world. This makes it hard to plan the day. Do you improve or enjoy the world? Do you save or savor the world? E.B. White is not remembered as an activist exactly. His name is not on the list of his name is on the list of amazing writers, but not really on the list of social reformers or change agents who tried to save the world. He certainly spoke out about issues of the day, advocating for justice and civil rights, for democracy and virtuous principles. But he said his desire was to improve the world, and one can easily argue that he did. He lived and wrote during challenging times, but they were not only challenging, they were also, as he says, seductive. His books and his pieces in The New Yorker had an impact on our lives, but the character of his writing leads me to believe that he was able to enjoy the world splendidly. E.B. White seems to have been able to both improve and enjoy the world. How do you plan to spend your day? White said the times in which he lived were challenging. We also live in times that are challenging. It has become numbingly normal to get news about the erosion of our democracy or attacks on the rule of law perpetrated by the executive branch of our federal government. Meanwhile, thugs in masks are kidnapping people on the street under the protection of our government. Meanwhile, our trans siblings are losing protections and seeing society encouraged to fear them. Meanwhile, our healthcare system is being run by conspiracy theorists instead of scientists. Our homeland security is run by white nationalists, and our federal intelligence agency is actively colluding to cover up the Epstein files in plain sight. Plus, we have a war in Ukraine and a genocide unfolding in Gaza and ridiculous international trade wars that we are paying for here with our own pocketbooks. Billionaires keep getting richer, and AI companies keep stealing our data and identities for their own profit. So yes, I do arise each morning with an alarming desire to improve the world. Do you want to save the world now too? I want to protect the immigrants and the refugees. I want to fight for better health care and for vaccines. I want to defend the rights and protections of LGBTQ people. I see our unhoused and hungry people right here in Broome County, and I want to do something about it. I have this desire to improve the world. And thankfully, I'm part of groups that are doing exactly that. Our congregation just co-hosted a huge community barbecue that served over 400 meals. The UUA launched a campaign around abolition with a focus on prisons, and our congregation is going to tap into that this year. Our systemic housing crisis social action team is working to raise funds and awareness of local legislative changes that we can make. And we've partnered with Community Land Trust that we know to create more sustainable housing for people. The interfaith group that I'm a part of, that we are working to rebuild after the pandemic, is re-establishing our local interfaith relationships. And the first official action was a peace walk in which we talked with and listened to each other, especially about Gaza. And so much more. We're in the middle of this. We're in the thick of it together. We are acting on this desire to improve the world, responding to the challenging times in which we live. And it can be a lot. And is anyone here feeling overwhelmed by it all? Are you feeling scattered or frustrated or just numb? Sometimes I need to check out, to escape, to drop everything and just stare at a patch of earth or a quiet stream for a bit, or play keepy-uppy with my granddaughter for a while. How about you? I'm reminded that the better world we are building does not need me exhausted or burned out. And this is more than just a conversation about self-care or justice fatigue. You've heard the argument that we need to do our justice work like a choir singing a prolonged note together. Different choir members take their breath at different times, and so the experience of the note is sustained, while individual singers each get a breath and no one is carrying the whole prolonged note alone. You've heard that metaphor, perhaps? That's not what I'm talking about here. E.B. White said the world is seductive, and he arises with a desire to enjoy the world, to savor it. This part is not about just taking a break. It's about pouring some of your best energy into loving the world powerfully, savoring the beauty of it, enjoying life. Do you enjoy life? This is not simply a matter of scheduling your day to do some improving in the morning and wrap that up to have time by 3:15 to savor it. There's a way in which desire to improve the world is born out of a critical dissatisfaction with the way things are. Things could be better. Let's get to work on that. But the desire to enjoy the world is born from a recognition that the world is stunningly beautiful right now, just as it is. Look at that amazing sunset. Listen to this elegant piece of music. Can I describe to you this cool game that I found that I am loving? Check out my new shoes. They look great and they're so comfortable. If all of my energy is on improving what's wrong, how much energy do I have for enjoying what's right? And counter to that, if I'm so invested in just savoring what's right, am I blocking out or in denial about what's wrong with the world around me? How can we have both? How do we savor and save, enjoy and improve? Here's a trick that works against us. We live in a late-stage capitalist society that pushes us to be dissatisfied about trivialities. Does your body smell wrong? Are you performing masculinity wrong? Is your dry skin keeping you from dating the right people? Are you embarrassing your children by driving the wrong car? We certainly need to step back from this manufactured dissatisfaction and instead simply love the world and ourselves as it is and as we are. The world is already amazing, and so are you. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. I love you right now. And if you still feel compelled to be dissatisfied, let me gently tell you that no one cares about your ear hair. Don't worry about it. But brown-skinned people are being profiled by ICE, and the CDC has stopped promoting vaccines, and the Epstein files are still being covered up. E.B. White did not resolve this dilemma. White intentionally kept the tension of this dual yearning to both enjoy and improve the world. He did not want us to have a solution. He wanted us to experience this tension. I was wrong when I suggested that E.B. White's full quote revealed that his conclusion was for savoring as the most important, more important than saving. He never said that. It was a farm and garden blog where I read that. Katie Spring is a health-conscious, modern young blogger who writes about tomatoes and cabbages, about women-owned seed catalogs, and 5 ways to stay grounded and avoid burnout while you're starting a farm. In one of her posts, she raises E.B. White's dilemma about saving and savoring the world. And she says, "It resonates so fully with me, the pull between wanting to protect, defend, and fight for the world, and wanting to laugh and explore and sink into the world's beauty. The two acts seemed separate." And as I continue reading, she eventually resolved that the two are not separate, but intertwined, and indeed they begin with savoring. Savoring leads to saving, she writes, because savoring leads to love. It's that simple. I found her reasoning quite sound. Savoring leads to saving, because savoring leads to love. That reminds me of a quote I had on a t-shirt when I was a teenager in the 80s. It's a quote from a Senegalese conservationist, Baba Diom, who wrote, "In the end, we will conserve only what we love. We will love only what we understand, and we will only understand what we are taught." Friends, we will only save what we love. So my goal is to encourage you to love the world, to love your neighbor, to love those who live at the edge, to love the beauty that you are and that you see in the world. Savoring leads to saving, because savoring leads to love. E.B. White loved the English language, and he enjoyed the creation of an elegant English sentence. That one sentence that he wrote about enjoying the world or improving the world has produced so much. It was a product of his love of the English language, through which he lifted up this tension. And it has spurred generations of people like me to grapple with this concept. Just in that one small sentence, that example of what he loves, he has improved the world. So go read a cozy romance, play your lute, take a dance class, hug your people, save the bee, and also care about that the spider gets something to eat. Make pithy protest signs. Take someone on a hike to your favorite view. Savor that fine meal. Love your neighbor and enjoy the world. We will only save what we love. So savor life, that you remember why it is worth saving. In a world without end. May it be so. Let us join in